Hello, it's 9 p.m. in Art. This time to English New Edition for tonight headlines. We have the launch of polio vaccination campaign. For the international scene, war in Ukraine, a night with the civilians on the road to Exodus. Welcome to our newsroom. A high-level thematic debate at the United Nations General Assembly on galvanizing the momentum for universal immunizations on Friday, February 25, was attended by the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Rabil Abdullah.
Monsieur le Président.
Distinguished of the General Assembly, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, allow me to congratulate you, President, for organizing this GA debate to consider the best ways for galvanizing the global momentum to universalize COVID-19 vaccinations. We hope that it will provide the necessary impetus required to ensure that our organization takes action to make vaccination universal, leaving no country, no region, and no person behind. Our delegation endorses the statement made by Azerbaijan on behalf of the non-aligned movement. Mr. President, Djibouti welcomes the progress achieved worldwide thanks to the global response to the coronavirus pandemic. In particular, we welcome the increasing determination to improve the global vaccination strategy in order to protect high-risk populations throughout the world, with special attention given to countries with low rates of vaccination, Africa being a priority among them. We also welcome recent progress by CEPI, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, in the area of COVID therapies and promising clinical trials. These vaccines are clearly central to our response so that we can effectively tackle the virus and adopt measures to make sure that the world is prepared for future pandemics. Despite its modest levels of financing, COVAX covered a significant portion of the global vaccination campaign by being in the front lines and distributing COVID vaccines worldwide, notably in my country, which received the first doses of the vaccine as early as March 2021. Mr. President, my country, Djibouti, was the second country in Africa to have introduced the COVID-19 vaccines at the beginning of March 2021. In point of fact, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Al-Hajj Ismail Omar Guelleh, as early as December 2020, authorized the supply and distribution of the COVID-19 vaccines, and the President was the first person in the country to be vaccinated. Currently, throughout our territory, we have set up vaccine clinics, vaccine buses, and even vaccine camels, and ensured community mobilization in order to reach every Djiboutian. We've promulgated a law mandating vaccines, and we currently have vaccinated 20% of our population. In conclusion, Mr. President, allow me to reiterate the importance of universal vaccination to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. The numerous instances of epidemic rebound connected with this global crisis have given rise to considerable concerns and fears, but all hope is not yet lost. It is still possible to take advantage of the benefits of universal vaccination and the impact this is already having in countries with high vaccination rates. This is the best proof we have that this type of protection is leading to a decline in the illness.
The Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmed Rabil Abdullah, launched yesterday the first phase of the polio vaccination campaign in the Hayable Polyclinic. The launching ceremony was attended by UNICEF representative Malva Johnson and the World Health Organization's representative Dr. René Halda Wert. and several senior officials from the Department of Health. This first phase of anti-polio vaccination campaign will take place from 27 February to 3 March 2022 and will target all children under the age of 5 throughout the country. Our country has been polio-free for more than 2 decades and periodically conducts vaccination campaigns to maintain these achievements and at all costs and allow Djibouti's children to flourish in a healthy environment. On this launching occasion, about 15 children received their dose of polio vaccines from the Minister of Health and the representative of the UN organizations. In their interventions, the two representatives of the UNICEF and World Health Organizations welcomed the decisions of the Djibouti government to immunize all Djiboutian children as a preventive measure to protect them against polio, which is still circulating in the sub-region. In his speech, the Minister of Health recalled that although Djibouti is free of polio, the existence of threats of importations and viral propagations, particularly in our sub-regions of the Horn of Africa, should not be overlooked. The Minister urged the population, especially parents, to vaccinate their children by taking advantage of this door-to-door vaccination campaign. The Minister also indicated that his department has enough of the latest generations of vaccines to be able to vaccinate all children, whether Djiboutians or not, and thus maintain our status as a polio-free country. On Saturday, 26 February 2022, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, received the Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock and Fishery Resources, Mohamed Ahmed Awale, for a working visit. This working visit is part of the cooperation with the different ministries of the government. During this meeting, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim was assisted by General Tahir Ali Mohammed, Chief of the Defense Staff, Colonel Major Mohamed Qayad Kelle, and Deputy Chief of the Defense Staff, Colonel Wahib Musa Khalile, Commander of the Air Force, and senior officers of the General Staff. Mohamed Ahmed Awale, the Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Fishery Resources, was welcomed at the Air Force headquarters by the Chief of the General Staff of the Armed Forces, led to the VIP lounge. General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim then welcomed Mohamed Ahmed Awale. During this working visit, the discussions point focused on ways and means to strengthen cooperation in order to raise it to a higher level. The General Directors of CFF, Omar Gelle Ahmed, Aisha Farah El-Tiris, and members of the Directorate of Schooling and Pedagogical Resources of the Training Center for Basic Education's teacher, Omar Gelle Ahmed, to follow up in different schools in the capitals as part of the monitoring of the training course of accompanied practices of students, teachers in initial training. The Director of Schooling and Pedagogical Resources, Dabar Musa Gedi, accompanied by the head of the department, Mustafa Jama and Abdullahi Khanile, visited schools in the capital. It should be noted that the students, teachers carried out 3 professional immersions course during their initial trainings at the Center of the Trainings Omar Gelle Ahmed. The students teachers are accompanied and supervised by the trainers of the center, by the teachers whose intense internship they carry out in their respective classes. At the end of this training period, the students teachers will be required to write a training report. The aim of the initial teacher training is to improve the quality of teaching in this respect, and a well-trained teachers will undoubtedly become good practitioners. In the framework of the project, my school, to me, the Six Citizens Day started this Saturday, 26 February 2022, in all the schools of the capital and the regions. It mobilizes the educational community and all the actors of the education system. It's students, parents, teachers, and technicians, pedagogical supervisor, collaborators of the minister, and senior staff of the MENFOP. Everywhere, the same crowd, massive, enthusiastic, composed of students, teachers, parents, but also public figures and ordinary citizens who rolled up their sleeves to participate in the eco-citizen project My Own School. The project My Own School is simply a community and eco-citizen operation to clean up and preserve the environment in and around the schools. The first edition dates back to Saturday, 1st December 2018, and it is with the same fervor everywhere that the national community responded to the call of the Minister of National Education and Vocational Training, Mustafa Mohamed Mahmoud, who instituted this day, which takes place on the last Saturdays of each month. The police and the Riyadh Regiment of Dikhil, in collaboration with the Customs Brigade, have intercepted a large quantity of Benson cigarette and other products. The customs services of the city of Dikhil have taken into account this 21 batch of cigarette and illegal product have put under seal for the continuation of the investigation. This is the first time that the police have taken into account this 21 batch of cigarette and illicit product, have sealed them to further strong investigations. The government of the Republic of Djibouti has taken the necessary measures to ensure that the peoples of the countries are protected from the effects of the wars, and to ensure the countries are protected to the effects. For the international scene, Madagascar hit again by a cyclone. This is the fourth time the country has been hit by tropical storms in a month. Cyclone Imnatis, winds up to 100 km per hour, hit the eastern coast. According to the Meteo France, heavy rains and widespread flooding in the southeast are expected by the end of the cyclone's passage on 2 March. Meteo Madagascar said that during the cyclones we were very scared, and my daughters came to me screaming and crying, said Sabine Elin. Then the roof of the shelters were in field of started raining in the houses. We spent the whole nights in the rains, and my children were crying in the mornings. They were sick from being soaked all night. So we are trying to save lives through emergency aid and by providing the essential foods that they need to get through this time, said Brian Landers, Deputy Director of the Emergency Operations for the World Food Programme. And to close up this edition is the war in Ukraine, a night with the civilians on the road to Exodus. Thousands of Ukrainian civilians have been fleeing the Russian invasion since Thursday and are trying to reach neighboring Poland. Chaotic evacuations with the dozens of kilometers of traffic jam on the Ukrainian side, which force shadows a large-scale humanitarian crisis. Our special the latest SUVs, all the latest families car hundreds of vehicles belonging to Ukrainian from all social classes squeezed together bumpers to bumper for about 13 kilometers before the Polish borders on the evening of Thursday, 25 February. As night for the hikers, pedestrians walking along the roadsides stand out amidst the exhaust. The giant traffic jam between Kyiv, the main city of the western Ukraine and the European Union's borders, the most tangible signs of exodus Ukrainian civilians fleeing the Russian invasions, and this is just the beginning of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. UNHCR said on Friday it was considering the scenarios with the ranges of 1 to 3 million people in Poland if the conflict escalates. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.